Alright, let's go. Number 10, Ceres' subsurface brine reservoirs. In 2020, planetary scientist Julie Castillo Roges of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory published findings in Nature Astronomy, drawing on data from NASA's Dawn spacecraft, which had spent years in orbit around Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt. What the mission revealed inside Aucator Crater had not been expected from a world of that size. But the unsettling part isn't the salt deposits themselves, it's what they indicate is still happening beneath the surface. Bright patches of sodium carbonate on the crater floor are among the most reflective features in the solar system. Analysis confirmed they were not ancient remnants exposed by impact. They were deposits left by liquid brine that had recently migrated upward from depth. Instead, Dawn's gravity measurements pointed to a reservoir of briny water roughly 40 kilometers below the crust, a body of liquid that had apparently persisted for a geologically significant period of time. Ceres formed in the cold outer solar system and drifted inward, carrying volatile compounds locked inside its body across billions of years of orbital history. A dwarf planet sitting quietly in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter may have been circulating liquid chemistry the entire time humanity has existed without anyone suspecting it was there. The smallest ocean world in the solar system might be hiding beneath the place no one thought to look. Number 9. Venus's Cloud Microbe Hypothesis. In 2020, astronomer Jane Greaves of Cardiff University and Paul Rimmer of the University of Cambridge reported a detection using the James Clerk Maxwell Telescope and the ALMA Array, two of the most sensitive radio observatories on Earth, of phosphine in the atmosphere of Venus. The findings were published in Nature Astronomy and immediately drew responses from planetary scientists worldwide. What makes this discovery particularly unsettling is where the gas appeared. Phosphine on Earth is produced almost exclusively through biological metabolism or industrial synthesis. It does not form spontaneously in oxygen-rich or sulfur-rich environments through known abiotic chemistry. And the signal Greaves and Rimmer detected originated not on Venus's surface, which is hot enough to melt lead, but in the temperate cloud layer between 50 and 60 kilometers altitude. At that height, atmospheric pressure and temperature fall within ranges that overlap with conditions at sea level on Earth. Scientists spent the following years attempting to identify a non-biological chemical pathway that could produce the detected concentrations. No confirmed abiotic mechanism has been established. The detection itself has been debated, reanalyzed, and partially revised, but the question it opened has not been closed. A toxic planet may still host life, just not on the surface where anyone expected it. Number 8. Mars subsurface brine lakes. In 2018, Roberto Orosei of the Italian National Institute for Astrophysics published findings based on data from the MAR-SES ground-penetrating radar instrument aboard ESA's Mars Express orbiter. The instrument had been scanning the subsurface of the Martian South Polar region for years before the signal emerged clearly enough to report. But the disturbing implication lies not in the ice above, it lies in what the radar found beneath it. Reflections from beneath the South Polar layer deposits showed a pattern consistent with liquid water. The strongest signal pointed to a body of liquid approximately 20 kilometers wide, sitting 1.5 kilometers below the ice cap. Surrounding it, additional reflective patches suggested smaller briny pockets distributed through the subsurface. Highly saline water can remain liquid at temperatures well below the normal freezing point, a property that allows brines to persist in environments where pure water would freeze solid. On Earth, hypersaline lakes buried beneath Antarctic ice sheets host microbial ecosystems that have survived in isolation without sunlight for thousands of years. Mars lost its surface oceans billions of years ago. What happened to the life that may have existed in them is a question the Mars's data did not answer. If life ever survived Mars's collapse, it may still be waiting under a kilometer of ice. Number 7. Titan's subsurface ocean. In 2012, planetary scientist Luciano Es of Sapienza University of Rome published an analysis of Cassini spacecraft gravity measurements revealing something unexpected beneath Titan's thick atmosphere and frozen surface. The data pointed to a layer of material behaving differently from what a fully solid interior would produce. The truly strange part isn't Titan's methane seas, it's what the gravity data suggests lies far beneath them. Cassini's measurements showed that Titan flexes slightly as it orbits Saturn, a tidal response inconsistent with a rigid frozen interior. The most straightforward interpretation is a global subsurface ocean lying beneath an ice shell estimated at between 50 and 100 kilometers thick. Above that ocean, Titan's surface hosts the most complex organic chemistry observed anywhere in the solar system beyond Earth. Hydrocarbons rain from orange clouds, accumulate in rivers, and drain into lakes of liquid methane. Organic compounds that settle on the surface may work their way downward through fractures in the ice over geological timescales, reaching the liquid layer below. The result is a world with two potential habitats stacked on top of each other, one frozen and hydrocarbon-rich, one liquid and buried, both running chemistry that has had billions of years to develop, maybe running a chemical experiment beneath the ice that has lasted billions of years. Number 6. Enceladus' hydrothermal ocean. In 2017, Hunter Wade of the Southwest Research Institute published findings from Cassini's Cosmic Dust Analyzer, which had been sampling material ejected from Enceladus' south polar geysers across multiple flybys. What the instrument detected in the plumes changed the assessment of this small moon significantly. But the truly shocking detail wasn't the water, it was what was dissolved in it. Cassini detected molecular hydrogen in the plume material erupting from fractures near the South Pole. Molecular hydrogen, in this context, is a signature of a specific chemical process, the reaction between seawater and hot rock at hydrothermal vents on the seafloor. On Earth, hydrothermal vent systems support entire biological communities, tube worms, shrimp, and the chemosynthetic bacteria that derive energy entirely from chemical reactions rather than sunlight. The presence of molecular hydrogen in Enceladus' plumes indicated that similar reactions were occurring at the bottom of its subsurface ocean, where liquid water was in contact with warm rock. Enceladus is small enough to hold in both hands as a model, yet it appears to contain one of the most complete sets of conditions associated with life anywhere in the solar system, and it is actively venting ocean material into space. If life exists there, the evidence may already be drifting through Saturn's orbit. Number 5. Europa's global ocean. In 1998, the magnetometer team aboard NASA's Galileo spacecraft, led by planetary scientist Margaret Kyvelson of UCLA, published findings from repeated flybys of Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon. The magnetic field data they analyzed pointed to a layer beneath the surface conducting electricity in a way that solid ice alone could not explain. But the frightening implication lies not just in the existence of that ocean, it lies in its scale. The most consistent interpretation of Kyvelson's data was a global subsurface ocean in contact with Europa's rocky seafloor. Subsequent modeling suggested the ocean reaches depths of approximately 100 kilometers, several times deeper than any ocean on Earth. Europa contains an estimated 2 to 3 times more liquid water than all of Earth's oceans combined, held beneath an ice shell whose thickness is still debated but estimated at between 10 and 30 kilometers. The seafloor contact provides two critical conditions: chemistry from the dissolution of rock into water, and potential heat from tidal flexing as Europa is pulled by Jupiter's gravity. Europa Clipper, NASA's mission to conduct detailed flybys of the moon, launched in 2024 and is en route. The ocean has been there for billions of years. No instrument has yet directly sampled it. Europa may contain the most habitable ocean in the solar system, and we have never seen it. Number 4. Ganymede's layered oceans. In 2015, planetary scientist Steve Vance of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory published interior modeling of Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon and the largest moon in the solar system, informed by auroral observations from the Hubble Space Telescope. The Hubble data had revealed subtle oscillations in Ganymede's auroral belts that pointed to a conductive layer beneath the surface. But the structure of that ocean is what unsettles scientists most. The oscillations Hubble detected were consistent with a global saltwater ocean generating a magnetic field that partially counteracted Jupiter's own. Interior models developed to match the observational data suggested something more complex than a single buried ocean. The models pointed to multiple layers of water separated by high-pressure ice, a stacked architecture in which liquid water zones alternate with solid ice phases that form under the extreme pressures of a deep interior. These layers may extend hundreds of kilometers beneath the surface. Each interface between liquid and ice represents a potential chemical exchange boundary where dissolved minerals and organic compounds could interact across geological timescales. Ganymede has been orbiting Jupiter for over 4 billion years. If its layered oceans have been chemically active for that entire duration, the accumulated complexity of their chemistry is difficult to estimate. Ganymede may not contain one ocean, but several, hidden beneath each other like buried worlds. Number 3. Callisto's ancient ocean. Between 1997 and 2001, the magnetometer instrument aboard NASA's Galileo spacecraft collected data during multiple flybys of Callisto, the outermost of Jupiter's 4 large moons. Margaret Kivelson's team at UCLA, the same group that had analyzed Europa's magnetic anomalies, found a similar induction signature in Callisto's magnetic environment. But the age of that ocean is what raises the deepest question. Callisto's surface is the most heavily cratered terrain in the solar system, a record of impacts accumulated over 4 billion years with almost no geological resurfacing to erase them. The moon shows no signs of the internal heat-driven activity that drives tectonics or cryovolcanism on other ocean worlds. Yet the magnetic data strongly suggests a conductive liquid layer exists beneath the ice. And the implication is that Callisto's subsurface ocean has not been created recently by tidal heating or radioactive decay in an active interior. It may have existed in relative stillness for over 4 billion years, longer than life has existed on Earth by any current estimate. An ocean that old, undisturbed, chemically isolated, represents a duration of potential biological development that exceeds anything in Earth's own history. If biology ever began there, it may have had more time to evolve than anything on our planet. Number 2. Europa's carbon dioxide ocean signal. In 2023, astronomer Samantha Trumbo of Cornell University published findings from James Webb Space Telescope NIR-SPEC observations of Europa's surface in the journal Science. The JWST data provided the highest resolution spectroscopic analysis of Europa's surface composition ever obtained. But the disturbing detail isn't that carbon dioxide was detected, it's where the data suggests it came from. JWST identified concentrated deposits of carbon dioxide on Europa's surface, particularly in a geologically disrupted region called Terra Regio, where the ice shell appears to have been fractured and resurfaced relatively recently. Spectroscopic analysis ruled out the most straightforward external explanation that the carbon arrived via meteorite impacts from carbonaceous asteroids. The composition and distribution of the deposits instead pointed to an internal origin. The carbon dioxide appears to have formed within Europa's subsurface ocean and migrated upward through the ice to the surface. Carbon, liquid water, and an energy source are the 3 conditions most consistently associated with the origin of life as it is currently understood. Europa's ocean has now been shown to contain at least 2 of those 3 in detectable quantities visible from space. For the first time, scientists may be seeing chemistry from Europa's hidden ocean reaching the surface. Number 1. Titan's methane lakes as alien biospheres. Between 2004 and 2017, the Cassini-Huygens mission, a joint project of NASA, ESA, and the Italian Space Agency, mapped Titan's surface in detail, charting lakes and seas of liquid methane and ethane in the moon's northern hemisphere. The largest Kraken Mare is comparable in surface area to the Caspian Sea. Ligeia Mare, the second largest, holds an estimated 9,000 cubic kilometers of liquid hydrocarbon. Chemical models developed independently by Stephen Benner of the Foundation for Applied Molecular Evolution and researchers at Cornell University examined whether these lakes could support biology. But the most unsettling possibility is that Titan may not need water at all. Every ocean world discussed in this list holds liquid water, the solvent in which all known life operates, the medium through which Earth's biochemistry runs. Titan's surface lakes are something else entirely. At minus 179 degrees Celsius, said liquid methane and ethane persist on the surface in stable bodies that have existed for as long as Titan has orbited Saturn. Laboratory chemistry confirms that complex organic molecules can still assemble and react in hydrocarbon solvents at these temperatures. Theoretical models propose organisms that could use methane as a cellular solvent, breathe hydrogen rather than oxygen, and metabolize acetylene, a compound abundant in Titan's atmosphere, as an energy source. These organisms would not merely be different from Earth life in detail, they would represent a second, independent origin of biology operating on entirely different chemical principles. They would dissolve instantly in water. Every ocean on every other world in this list would kill them immediately. On Titan, the most alien life imaginable might already be swimming in lakes that would kill every organism on Earth. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.